Yes, Hugo Weaving. Of course, Hugo, Little Fish leading the nominations, 13 nominations in this year's awards. First, I guess the first thing is a fantastic movie, very, very gritty material. How confronting was it working on it with everybody?
Well, actually, the material was sometimes pretty harrowing, but it was a real joy to work on it because of all the preparation that we did. So it actually wasn't as difficult as it may have. It didn't seem as difficult as it probably was.
What did you do to wind down after a day of work?
I went home to my kids, and that's always a good wind down.
That'll knock you out of it.
But the storyline there of it, you know, it's almost an every family story. Every family has a member who's been troubled with forms of addiction and trying to move on through their lives. Very, very difficult subject matter, and something that I think that a lot of Australians have probably have been touched by, and that's why they've come so close to it and love the movie.
It is very much a story about family. I mean, the family and friends who've become a family, and trying to move on from your past and not being able to do that. But so I mean, I find it a very sad, very moving film, even though I'm in it, which is unusual. I normally see things and kind of move on from them.
Because the direction could have been much darker. It could have been a very dark film, but there's a lot of life in it.
Uplifting about it.
But you've also had some luck as far as starring in films like Lord of the Rings, so you've had some fantasy and some up films to do. So it's good to have that contrast.
It is, but it's always great to come back to Australia and work with someone like Rowan after having done a big blockbuster like that.
I guess one of the real contrasts, though, not just on subject matter, but it's on the financing of the films. I mean, Little Fish, I think, was about something like $2 million?
No, it was about 10 million.
10 million?
Yeah, it was quite big for...
Oh, that's big.
As far as Australian films go, it was quite large.
Yeah.
All right. And so with the production of it and working with Rowan, I mean, obviously his background has moved through all sorts of amazing things. This is a very, very touching subject matter for him to have worked on. How did he sort of guide you guys through it? I mean, working with yourself and Kate Blanchett, I mean, you guys have worked with a lot of very different directors. It must have been, I would imagine, a bit daunting for him.
Yeah, I mean, well, Rowan knew Kate, and Kate and I worked together quite a lot, and in fact had just come off stage literally the week before we started working on this. And but the preparation that Rowan had done 3-4 months before we even started was so immaculate, and he presented us with a lot of DVDs of interviews that he'd done with a number of different people, and we kind of went on from there. So by the time we got to shooting Little Fish, we were very ready, I think, and that made it much easier than it probably was.
Were you surprised with the number of nominations that it's received this year?
No. No, I think it's a beautiful film. I'm not surprised by the amount of nominations at all, but I'm not really into counting, to be perfectly honest.
But that's our job. That's what we have to do. That's the sort of thing that we have to do.
Do you think it will be received differently from the film industry experts as opposed to the People's Choice Awards?
Look, who knows? I really don't know. The critics seem to be slightly different from the AFI Awards, and possibly they'll be slightly different from tonight, so whatever. The great thing is that there's been a pretty good spread over, well, 3 films predominantly, but no, that means that's good. It's better than one film getting everything.
Hugo, what's next in line for you? What are we going to see you on next?
Well, you'll probably see there's a film called V for Vendetta, which Larry and Andy Wachowski produced, and that'll come out next March. And beyond that, who knows? No idea.
It's the perennial actor's tale, isn't it? You sort of wait for the phone to ring.
Yeah, you just hang out at home, really. You know.
Thanks very much for your time, Hugo.
My
Okay,
pleasure.
now let's cross over for a final wrap on the red carpet.